Good day, YouTube. This is Jay Money with Falling Forward Financial. Just an update here on HITI. Was going to do a video on them over the weekend, didn't get it done. I've talked about them a couple times here on the channel. It's one of my favorite MJ plays. Again, this is HITI, ticker HITI. Used to be HITIF, and then it switched to HITID. Here's where it was listed on June 3rd. Ever since then, it's just came down. It's starting to go back up a little bit. Currently at 729. Here's what it looks like over the last 3 months. Last month, it's up actually over 18%, and in the last week, the same percentage. And here's a look today, so down a little bit. If you don't know what this one is, it's manufacture and retail of MJ smoking accessories and lifestyle products. Founded in 2009. Don't know if that can be right. 3.87 thousand average volume and a $348 million market cap. Here's a look at their last earning, expected on September 17th in the pre-market is when earnings are coming up. So it should be interesting to see what happens with their earnings. I just did a video on Green Lane Holdings, and it doesn't look like their earnings turned out too well as the stock went down. But back to HITI. Like I said, I've talked about this one numerous times on the channel here, and HITI continues growth with a new Calgary MJ store. This is dated on the 9th. So the retail-focused MJ Corporation, enhanced by manufacturing and distribution of consumption accessories, announced today that the Canacabana location So the retail-focused MJ Corporation, enhanced by manufacturing and distribution of consumption accessories, announced today that the Canacabana retail store, located at 920 36th Street Northeast in Calgary, Alberta, has begun selling recreational MJ products for adult use. The opening represents HITI's 91st branded retail, and I think they're scheduled to open 115 by the end of the year, so I have no doubt that they'll do it. Every time I talk about this one, they've opened up 1 or 2 locations. I think when I first started talking about them, it was at 80 or 85. I would have to go back and check, but the new store is located with a major commercial plaza and is situated across the street from the popular Pacific Place Mall and several leading national big box retail chains. So if you know where that one is, or if you've been there, go ahead and list that in the comments. I'm proud that in spite of the pandemic-related challenges and because of our team's hard work, we have been able to continue our rapid pace of growth, bringing our total store count across the Canada to over 90. The president and CEO of HITI, our nationally familiar brand and strengthened network, enables us to offer our unique one-stop shopping experience to customers across the country and markets of all sizes. We look forward to crossing the 100 store milestone in the near future. So I have no doubt, like I said, they'll hit the 115 mark. So, and currently at 91 locations, spanning on Ontario, Alberta, Manitoba, and Saskatchewan. HITI's retail segment features a Canacabana, Meta, MJ Company, New Leaf, with additional locations under development across the country. Some other ones that they've been serving consumers over the decade through established e-commerce platforms is Grass City, Smoke Cartel, and DailyHighClub.com. I love some of the names that they have, and CBD City. So very interesting company. Plus the key industry investors in HITI are Tilray and Aurora. And for more information on HITI, you can go right here to their website. And we'll just take a quick look here. Rising Tide of MJ. This kind of goes over their story. In 2009. So they've had pretty decent growth. As of June 21st, 2021, based on the analytics data provided by Alexa Internet related to Grass City Smoke Cartel and Daily High Club, traffic data provided by Google Analytics. And here's again some of their brands. So if you're looking to get into high tide, I would definitely recommend going to their website. Here it kind of goes over some of their brands. And moving on here, MJ Dispensary Roundup, Green Apple, Eden Empire, New Standard, and High Tide. And this is dated on the 10th, so a little bit older information. But Green Apple, MJ, a local dispensary at 231 Berry Street in Thornton, Ontario, launched its MJ sales. Haven't heard of that one. Might have to check into that one as well. And dispensary grand opening ceremony on Saturday the 31st. Eden Empire expands retail footprint in Canada, debuts in Vancouver. Eden Empire announced Thursday that it will open its first store in Vancouver. And there's the ticker, a Canadian ticker. Have not looked that one up yet. Launch of the first Eden branded location in Vancouver signifies momentous for Eden. So if you have any of Eden, go ahead and list that in the comments as well. Here it talks more about High Tide has continued to expand the retail footprint in Canada, located at 920 36th Street Northeast in Calgary. So if you've been to that one or any High Tide locations, go ahead and list that in the comments, and that would be interesting to know as well. And your favorite thing about High Tide: closes acquisition of leading online retailer Dank. And I saw this information last week, but didn't get a video done on it. So they acquired another top e-commerce platform. I talked about it on one of my last videos, which already includes 3 out of the top 5 most popular e-commerce platforms for consumption accessories, and totaled almost $100 million site visits across all platforms in 2020, including 2.5 million associated with Dank. High Tide gains access to Dank more than 200,000 email subscribers and further bolsters its online presence by gaining access to Dank almost 335,000 Instagram followers. So should be a boost in the sales and the stock price, I would assume, with that many people. Transaction is immediately accredited to Dank. Generated revenue over $3 million in the United States. $3 million US during the 12 months ended on April 30th, and a EBITDA margin in the low double digits. So again, they're retail focused, and I'm just going to slowly scroll through for those of you that would like to read more on High Tide, and I'll go ahead and list my other videos in the description as well. I've covered this one quite a few times. Why High Tide stock looks ready for a breakout, and this is just dated on the 13th, so last Friday. Shares are trading higher Friday, likely on continued momentum after the company closed an acquisition deal on the online e-commerce platform Dank. High Tide closed Friday's session at 11.09% higher at $7.31. The stock looks like it has broken out of the technical traders call a falling wedge pattern. 50-day moving average in the green, and the 200-day moving average in the blue. And this also shows the relative strength index. So here you can see the 50-day in the green and the 200-day in the blue. What's next for high tide? Bullish traders are looking to see the stock break about pattern resistance and continue to move higher. Bulls would then like to see consolidation after a breakout for a possible further move. Bearish traders would like to see the stock fall below pattern support and below the moving averages for a potential change in trend and sentiment. So we'll see who wins that tug of war, whether it be the Bulls or the Bears. I had another article here, but it's not going to be up here on Reddit. And nothing there. Over here on a StockTwits, currently at $7.29, a low of $1.65, high of $13.29. So quite a bit of volatility in there. Video lit AF. To legalize MJ features Forbes. That's interesting. There you go. Little John Belushi. Dump producers and buy retail. This thing is about ready to blow. Didn't realize Morgan Stanley owned some shares as well. Forecast for high tide. Go theta. Not much else listed there. Over here on tip ranks, great ratings on this one. Just one rating showing a moderate buy. Currently at 729 with 118. Let's call it 119% upside. High of 1596 across the board. So if you have high tide, go ahead and list that in the comments along with your cost basis, how many shares you have, any other information you want to share on high tide. And I'm sure I'll be covering it again in the next week or two, as this is one of my favorite ones and always information out there to talk about high tide. And if you haven't smashed that like button yet, go ahead and hit that for me, as well as subscribing and hit the bell so you're notified of when the next videos drop. Again, this is J Money following Forward Financial. Happy trading, happy investing, stay green. Cheers.